Good evening, everyone. I am loving that intro music. I like the way to start the meeting on a nice, smooth, jazzy note. It is Tuesday evening, and I don't know who's responsible for that music, but I want to say thank you to whoever ideal that was. It brings us in on a high and positive, kind of a groovy Tuesday kind of feeling, kind of a vibe up in here on this evening work session in the month of May. It is, without question, Tuesday, May the 16th, and it's shortly after the 5 p.m. hour. We're here in the Assembly Hall at 901 Main Street in the heart of Old Town Conyers, and we are calling our meeting to order. So we're going to start. I think we have, we do have special. Sounds good to me. All right, commissioners.
Design Yield Learning Loss Grant in the amount of $50,000. The term is January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, and this will be submitted for ratification. And I will keep reading until I'm interrupted.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Item 231 is with Inliner Solutions LLC through the Water Resources Department. This is for the annual sanitary sewer rehabilitation services, change order number 3 to contract 2021-167. The item number 1 is additional funds needed due to aging infrastructure in the amount of $3,250,983.80. Item number 2 is a price increase of $722,729.38 to the original contract, and then to renew the term through October 25th, 2024.
Is this to, as part of the infrastructure plan, that we are improving the infrastructure? $3 million?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Commissioner Chair.
Good evening.
So we have cleaning. Actually, we are doing sewer rehab on the manholes in the sewer pipe infrastructure in the county.
Okay.
This is a capital CIP, already budgeted for CIP.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Item 232 is with Enterprise Fleet Management through the Fleet Services Division. This is for fleet vehicle lease for one 2023 Ford Transit 250 crew for the Parks and Recreation in the amount of $16,024.92 for 60 months, and this is host funded and submitted for ratification. Item 233 is with ESRI Incorporated through the Technology Services Department. This is for the Enterprise License Renewal, contract change order number 1 to contract 2021-123. This is the third year cost of $55,000. Item 234 is with Grits and Jelly Butter through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for the band performance for the summer concert series at Costley Mill Park in the amount of $3,000, and the date is July 30th, 2023. Item 235 is with the Grand Scheme through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for a band performance for the summer concert series at Costley Mill Park in the amount of $5,200. The date is August 27th, 2023. Item 236 is with the Erica Dawson exclusive through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a band performance for the summer concert series at Costley Mill Park in the amount of $4,500, and the date is September 24th, 2023.
So I do want to make a comment here. I'm going to ask that Director Redmond would come up. Commissioners, I just want to share with you that I've started some preliminary conversations with Director Redmond about exploring the opportunity of having a arts, culture, and entertainment division, part of Parks and Recreation. What we're paying attention to all across the region, particularly when you think about arts and culture, the number of grants and grant opportunities for any city, any county or community that entertains arts and culture. Just those two words alone brings multiple opportunities for us to be eligible for grants and grant opportunities. Well, when you add the E component for entertainment, just listening to the number of contracts that was named by Executive Director Rutledge in terms of the summer concert series that's coming up, oftentimes citizens are asking Parks and Rec, why don't we have Patti LaBelle or the Isley Brothers or some of the bigger names that they're having out in Stockbridge and Wolf Creek and some of those other venues throughout the metro. Well, those names are heavy prices. Those are some heavyweight prices, and some of those folks, although they've been around for quite some time, they're still listed as A-list performers. Well, in order to bring those folks to a venue out here, number one, we have a lot to consider: traffic, parking, and the cost. So if we put ourselves in line to be more eligible for grants in the area of arts and culture, and being able to connect the entertainment piece to it, it will give Parks and Recreation an additional arm and an additional tool and resource to be able to go out and do more in terms of some of the feedback. Director, this is your wheelhouse. We've talked about this. This is something that you and your team have taken a look at, and I think it would certainly, when I think about costly meal by itself, that in itself, but tell us a little bit more, educate the commissioners a little bit more about some of the research that you're doing as relates to arts, culture, and entertainment.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Madam Commissioners. Chairman, you're exactly right. We have done area comparisons to surrounding counties to find out how they operate their arts and cultural events and their budget and what they use and how they attract some of the artists that they're able to attract there. And what we find in 99% of the cases is they have a separate arm, cultural arts fund and a cultural arts arm to bring those artists there. We actually had a Parks and Recreation agency to visit us maybe 2 months ago. They wanted to come in and and we get that quite a bit from our website and from the virtual tour. People are able to go on and see what we're doing, so they want to actually come in. And they spent the entire day with us, the entire 6 hours with us. We walked them through how we do what we do. And in talking to them, they have a cultural arts arm. And when we asked what their budget was, she told us $600,000. And how they were able to bring some of the artists that they're able to bring in. And of course, we were taken back by that. But you know, we're a work in progress, and that's something that we want to work towards. But we first have to structure our department the way that theirs is structured in order to make that first step. So you're exactly right. So that's what we're looking at doing.
And I think for Rockdale County, even with the number that Director Redmond used, that number doesn't necessarily apply to Rockdale County. He used that as an example. Just this afternoon, the Fox 5 News report is reporting on all local media outlets that the city of Atlanta is bringing back the Piedmont Summerfest. They discontinued it last year, and they're bringing it back because when you think about what arts and culture does for economic development and local people in the community in terms of a revenue generator, it really can bring multiple opportunities. We have to, again, factor in the size of our park when we think about costly meal. But it's not limited to costly meal. We have other venues throughout the county when you think about a broad range of arts, culture, and entertainment. This is something I've asked him to continue to do some research, get back with the three of us. You know, sometimes it's hard for a citizen on a walking trail who says, hey, how come I'm going out to Stockbridge this weekend, or I'm going out to Maple House Amphitheater and they're having this, and how come Rockdale County can't have this? And I said, well, I don't know whether citizens want to spend that kind of money, because they're spending big money to bring in those acts, not just the money for the talent itself, the staging and all of the equipment, the sound that deals with that will project a professional sound for those types of events and activities. But we're hearing more and more of our citizens asking for those kinds of amenities coming out of Parks and Recreation, and so we're looking to hear back maybe towards the end of this year, as we move more into the heart of budget season, some of that report that he's able to bring. Commissioner Washington, you had a comment.
Oh, yes. It would be nice to have a performing arts center, something that we have, a performing arts center that we can have nice, big concerts like that with different genres. We could teach different kinds of arts, be it dance, tap, ballet, different things in a performing arts center. So I think that we should look at something like that also.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Williams?
Well, and so the thing I was thinking was, when you have people dedicated to arts and culture, you have people who will be dedicated to looking for grants.
Right.
And there's quite a few grants. Whenever we go to Washington DC for the NACO conference, I always attend the Arts and Culture Commission. And they're always talking about grants that are available, and that would be awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the other things, Commissioner is so right, when we were having a discussion just last week down at ARC, the Atlanta Regional Commission, and they were addressing the subject of arts and culture throughout the region, throughout Atlanta. And one of the things that they discovered, to the point that Commissioner Williams is making, not only are there so many grants available to support an arts and culture initiative, but a lot of corporate businesses, whether it be Coca-Cola, Georgia Power, a lot of those big corporations love to lend their names behind community initiatives that will bring people out in a family atmosphere. Another area that's becoming very, very popular, this was also on the local news, is the pet ownership. Pet ownership since COVID has truly increased. More and more people and more restaurants are now becoming more pet friendly, where they're allowing pet owners to actually bring their pets into the restaurants. That's happening all over Metro Atlanta. But there are more initiatives for dog parks and for people to bring into gathering spaces for those opportunities. So when you think about arts, it's a really broad area. There's a lot of untapped funds in terms of Rockdale County. Other communities are going after it. I can't hardly wait to hear back from what you're going to bring us later this fall as we lend our mind to arts and culture.
So this is what I will say. I'm so glad to see this initiative, because I do believe that as we move forward in reimagining Rockdale County, if we don't have something for people to do outside of just ever so often we do something, if we don't have a concerted effort to bring entertainment and arts and different things into this community, we're going to be in a place where number one, we lose out on that, all that revenue, but people who want that as part of their life, they're not going to choose to live here. And we need to start reimagining or doing things to court the people that we do want to live in this community. And I know for a matter of fact, most of those people want arts, they want entertainment, and the thing about shoring up your entertainment, so when you go to a play at the Fox or anything, the very next thing you do is you go get something to eat. So with the entertainment piece, that there comes the restaurants, there comes the all the things that come with that amenity. So when I say we need a art center, I'm thinking of the total development that comes with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think the commissioner is absolutely right. Not to belabor the point, but let me just say that one night out and I think she used an excellent example. We don't have a Fox Theater in Rockdale County. We're not trying to create a Fox Theater in Rockdale County. She talked about the vision of an arts performing arts center, and that's something that certainly can be placed on the radar. But we're taking a first step first. We're talking about arts, culture, creating an arts and culture division within the Parks and Recreation Department. Let's start there and go after those grants and build upon that particular foundation. But one night out to the Fox Theater for any couple, she's right. There's a ticket price, there's parking, there's dining, food and beverage. For some folks, there's a hotel stay. There's a lady getting her hair done. There's a new dress maybe. There's some makeup. There's a whole lot going into one night. And there's a lot of revenue and economic development in that one night, just in that alone. So when you really think outside the box, not limited to attracting people into our community, well, let's think about all the people who already live, who currently live in Rockdale County, who often say to me, I went to Stockbridge, I went to Wolf Creek, I went out to Mableton House, I went up to Chastain. Most of those folks saying they don't want to have to go to those other venues. They don't want to have to travel back to Atlanta on the weekend until it's time to return on Monday to go to work. If there was a play or a concert or some type of arts events that's happening here on the weekend, there's more of an opportunity to partake in that right here in your own backyard. And you can turn those dollars, spend them right here locally.
Yeah.
So we had on our calendar this week that we were actually going to go yesterday to a concert in Athens by students. And now we weren't able to go, but we were willing to drive just to listen to a concert at noon. And it reminded me of the last time I was in New York City and they were having a concert at a church. And there was no charge, so people were just performing. It was awesome. And so the more you get a little bit going, other people will offer opportunities too that probably don't even cost a lot. So we just need somebody focused on that.
Right, you're correct.
Well,
I have heard you guys, and we are definitely working on that. So stand by, stay tuned, and I'll be getting a report to you guys later in the year.
We certainly appreciate it. I was just going to close out on this and say, Commissioners Washington and Williams, let me just be clear. Right now, here in Rockdale County, we certainly could not host an Earth, Wind, and Fire concert in Rockdale County nowhere else other than out at the horse park that's owned by the city of Conyers. Certainly, Earth, Wind, and Fire could not get at Costly Mill. We don't have traffic, we don't have logistics, we don't have any type of equipment to house those folks here. They do at Wolf Creek. They do have a sound stage and a facility out in the little city of Stockbridge. Mableton can do that. The folks up at Chastain, of course, that's a venue for that type of thing. We're talking about starting small, but building the infrastructure of arts, culture, and entertainment, going after those grant dollars so we could be in a better posture and position to do things later down the road and build upon this vision that we're talking about. Thank you so much, Director. Next item, please.
Through the General Services Department for Global Furniture Group, care of Impact Office Interiors Incorporated, for furniture for the EMA Center offices in the amount of $27,247.86. This is SPLOST funded. Item 238 is a requisition through the General Services Department for United Maintenance. This is for the HVAC replacement system 7811 at the Portman Road offices. Actually Portman Drive offices, that in the amount of $23,962. Item 239 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Southern Computer Warehouse for the server room equipment and related services per telecom requirements for AT&T and Motorola in the amount of $496,221.06. This is SPLOST funded. Item 240 is a requisition through the General Services Department for the Creative Bus Sales. This is for one 2023 Ford E450 Starcraft All-Star 24-passenger plus 2 wheelchairs for the Parks and Recreation Department. The amount is $131,540.80, and this is host funded.
So what are these 24-passenger vans or buses or whatever, what are they going to be used for?
I was going to come up here, but as you can see, we're twins, so I'm going to let him. If you call his number, I answer, so I'm letting him.
Determine who's who. So go ahead, Director Hammer.
These are the vans that we need for transportation and for doing trips, summer camp, you name it, whatever we need for it to go off-site, off-campus. The current vehicle inventory that we have now, one of the vans or the buses we can't drive it because of emissions. It's illegal to drive it on the road. So that leaves us with only one bus, and with us having to operate with summer camp and do other things, it limits us to what we can do from a programming perspective.
I hate that you did not bring a photo of what our delegation drove to Augusta last year. Our emerging leaders commissioners, had you all seen what they were riding in representing Rockdale County, you would have been totally embarrassed. And what I was a little bit more irritated, because Executive Director Tony Holmes was sitting in the front seat on that van, looking mighty special on that bus. And I just said, I didn't even really believe that those vehicles were actually, because I often see them out at Fleet Services parked. I just thought they were prepared to get surplused out. I don't even know the age of, I'm serious. This is quite embarrassing to think about regional activities, whether it's for our leadership staff and employees, or whether we're taking a group of young people who are participating in a summer camp program out at Johnson Park to Six Flags or to Whitewaters or to some other type of educational outing. To see Rockdale County represented in such a way is really embarrassing. We did the same thing with our fleet. And just about every other week we come in here and we have a contract related to fleet, as we have really upgraded our inventory in terms of our fleet. We have to do the same thing when we think about our corporate look for this county in transporting employees and making sure that if we have a group of young people, they're not embarrassed or ashamed to step up on that bus. If we do take a group of kids down to the Alvin Ailey show in February at the Fox Theater, some of them rather ride with the parent than to get on that ugly bus. Next time we meet, Director, go ahead and make a note. I want people to see this, because me just talking about it doesn't do enough justice, because folks are not aware. I want you to bring in some photos, let folks see what we're talking about. We're in need. It's time to upgrade. It's time to make sure that we are representative of our community and we're reflective of, we're talking about reimagine Rockdale, but we're riding around look like 1975.
And it's a safety issue as well, Chairman. The buses can break down at any moment, and you don't want to be on a field trip with 40 kids and you're stranded on the side of the road. So, yes.
So, there you have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Item 241 is a requisition through the Water Resources Department for Black and Veatch. This is for the Salem LK Force Main inspection, assessment, and recommendations in the amount of $49,405. Item 242 is a requisition to the Fire Rescue Department for United Rentals. This is for 2 each 20 foot and 7 each 40-foot storage containers for the Rockdale County Fire Rescue Burn Building at the Fire Station Number 1 for the county's rating increase and for fire training in the amount of $36,000.
Are they going to be red? Chief? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Duly noted. Item 243 is an expenditure request for the DeKalb County Revenue and License Administration for the Water Resources Department for sewage treatment for March 2023 in the amount of $49,901.03. Item 244 is a list of surplus of equipment through the Parks and Recreation Department, General Services Department, and the Juvenile Court. Item 245 is a special use permit case 2023-01, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended to authorize a special use permit for a 200-foot AGL monopole communication tower and related telecommunication facilities at 2400 Southwest Tucker Mill Road, Conyers, Georgia 30012 to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This will be submitted for a first reading next Tuesday.
So is there not a tower there now? Is
I
this?
believe there is one there right now.
Director Morgan, you know anything about this one?
This would be a planning department item, but we do have the application that's in your packet, and according to the site plan, there's nothing right now. This will be for an installation of the monopole, should it be approved.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, looks like we're down to Public
Public
comment?
comment. Haven't received any red cards.
All right, we'll go right on into board
Thank you.
comments. And I'll start with Commissioner Washington.
Well, don't have a lot. Happy belated Mother's Day to all of the mothers. Happy congratulations to my Los Angeles Lakers for advancing to the semifinals. And that's really all I have today.
That's really all you have.
That's it. That's all that's needed.
All right, Commissioner Williams?
Well, that didn't give me much time to.
So we have another, I'm trying
So,
to.
a couple of things. As far as arts and culture, okay, when I ran 10 years ago, whenever it was, I ran on the fact that we needed to have arts and culture. That was one of the things on my platform. And we did then put some in for arts and culture that first year. And so I'm really excited about this movement, about people who are directly in charge of doing that. One of the classes I went to at ACCG, and I can't even remember which class it was, but what impressed me was what the instructor said. So many times we say, when someone asks us about an idea or something, we say, yes, but. He said we should be saying yes and moving that way in a forward position, and that's kind of how I feel about a performing arts center. We should be saying yes, and we can do this, and we can do that, and we can do this, and look at all the things that we can do, not while, as we're building things up, be looking at what we can do.
Right.
Instead of I'm a big visual person anyway, and I think we just need to be looking at the big picture and what we could be doing as we're working towards that. I don't think we can wait. I think we need to be looking, yes, and we could do this, and we could do that. The other thing I had is that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this Friday evening, there is a piece under the pavilion being sponsored by the Stepping Up Initiative. I know they've got someone who's going to do some guided meditation, some yoga. There's a former accountability court participant who has juices, fruit juices, vegetable juices that will be available. There'll be some other food available too, and I think it's all free. As far as the food, everything else is. So, join us from 6 to 9 Friday evening right downtown under the pavilion. But also think about, mental health has been a big, big thing since COVID. We'd been doing a lot of talking about it. I had been doing a lot of talking about it forever. But with the pandemic, it seems to have exacerbated the problems and, the need for more assistance and more workforce in that field. I received a call last week from Henry Craig, who is the president of the ACCG Association, asking me to chair the Health and Human Services Policy Committee. And so, one of my big moves will be to get House Bill 520 passed, which it passed with only 3 negative votes in the House, and then it got all hung up in the Senate doing weird things. So, that will be one of the priorities I know that we'll be working on, is that mental health thing. There's also the piece of needing to incentivize people to go into social work, mental health, those people who provide those services, because we know there's a shortage of that too. So, so I am looking forward to that. That's it.
All right, very good. So I'm going to call up Chief Mack. We want to talk about what's going to take place on tomorrow. And saw that the chief had deployed her maintenance team on Monday. They were out cutting the grass and getting the place nice and tidied up, and it looks good, Chief. Tell us about tomorrow and what we can expect.
You can expect some great things for Rockdale County. I'm very excited. Some 5 years ago when I started here under then Chief Morgan, we were talking about a 10th fire station. And you often hear me talk about ISO and things such as that, and that's Insurance Services Office. And they rate how well the fire department is able to service a community. Having this 10th station up on the north side give us even more ability to service the citizens and community of Rockdale County. And I also want to talk about, with regards to that, as a training component. Once you become a firefighter, that's still a firefighter. Even myself, as a fire chief, I have to maintain 120 hours annually to maintain my certification. So this fire station gives us another avenue to train on. It increases our ISO rating, and we have our groundbreaking tomorrow at 11:30 up on the north side of the county, 3300 Highway 138 at 11:30. So we invite you to come out. It's going to be a great time and taking Rockdale County forward.
Well, thank you, Chief, and we look forward to being there for the groundbreaking of Fire Station number 10. I'll tell you, we've received already a good number of feedback in our office from residents who live in the northern district of Rockdale County, and we've also put out a couple of messages to some of the businesses in the area as well. We've encouraged those residents on the north side of Rockdale County to, if they can, come out tomorrow and be a part of this. So this is a big deal for Rockdale County. We've never had coverage on the north side of the county, and this is really going to close that gap between Sigmund and 138, and then whatever mutual aid we would normally typically receive from either Walton, Gwinnett, or Newton County on the north side of Rockdale.
It's important to add that on the national level, response times range from 8 to 9 minutes. That means how long it takes for a fire department to get there based on dispatch to arrival. Rockdale County Fire Rescue is averaging 5 minutes and below. So we're well beyond that, and we're 9 stations operating, covering 132 square miles, so that's huge. This 10th station is going to make it even better. So we're not missing a beat. We're serving, and we're going to continue to serve even better with the 10th fire station.
Thank you, Chief.
Right,
thank you so much.
thank you.
I'll call up Executive Director Holmes. She's going to talk to us a little bit about, we still have a good number of job vacancies here in Rockdale County. And I want to make sure every now and then we like to bring her up and talk about those open positions in Rockdale County. Commissioner Williams was absolutely right. A lot of things shifted after COVID. And then, of course, you remember what is called the Great Resignation. People start moving and making different decisions in terms of career moves throughout the county. Well, Rockdale County is not exempt from that. We have a good number of vacancies throughout every department in Rockdale County. Executive Director Holmes, talk to us about what talent management is doing to address some of these openings.
Absolutely, Chairman. Well, first and foremost, on our wonderful website, if you take a look at it, we are on the front page of that website. In the very middle, there's a button there that says employment. So we definitely want to make sure that everyone takes an opportunity to take a look at the vacancies that we do have. We're also casting our nets a little bit further in terms of our recruitment efforts. So making sure that we're participating, working with the high schools, local schools, making sure that we're working with local vendors, businesses, as well as college tours, Chairman. So we are actually making sure that our team is visible in the college community, not just locally here in the Rockdale area, but also Georgia as a whole. So making sure that we are reaching out, that candidates are aware of our recruitment efforts. We also have introduced or reintroduced what we're calling our classifieds. So we reintroduced that to Rockdale County. If you've walked through some of our break rooms, you should see that out there. We have a newsletter that's going to be coming out, so we want to share and make sure that everyone is aware of all of the opportunities we have here in Rockdale County. We actually just did a lot of hiring in Parks and Recreation for our summer camp program. So we had a huge response, very pleased. Right now we're still looking for lifeguards. I'm sharing lifeguard. Oh, you have to be able to swim. That's what I was told today. You need to know how to swim. if you want to be a lifeguard. But those are some.
To be a lifeguard, you need to know
You
how to
need to
swim.
know how to swim.
Absolutely.
That's what Director Redmond told me today. But also, Chairman, we just encourage people to take a look at the website. We update that website frequently throughout the week, but definitely at least on a weekly basis, take a look at our website at the opportunities that we have. So we're out there just trying to make sure that people know that Rockdale County is hiring.
Executive Director Holmes, pressing a little further while you're there at the podium, what are some of the areas that you have your largest vacancies right now throughout the county?
Right now, Chairman, I'm going to speak to public safety, which continues to be an opportunity for us. We partner and we meet with Rockdale County Sheriff's Office on some of the incentives that we can do. But again, that particular position, it is a challenging one to fill, making sure that we have those qualified individuals. But we're excited about the partnership that we have with the Sheriff's Office. So we're on the pulse of that. We meet frequently with his HR team and also his leadership team. But public safety is definitely one of the areas that we focus on.
What about the fire department in terms of vacancies there?
Mr. Chairman, myself and Chief McDaniel, she can talk to you about some of the initiatives that we have, especially with Fire Station number 10 coming available, so.
Well, currently, we have 3 separate recruit classes going on, which totals about 34, 35 fire recruits. With that, we still have 27 vacancies, and it grows daily because some folks have that little story where they was on Miss Maddie's porch and want to be a firefighter all their life, and when they get there, it's like, oh, yeah, no. And we're happy that they realized that early on. There's a firefighting, a recruit, as well as EMT component. Most often, if we're going to lose anyone, it's on the EMT side. It's a national certification they have to obtain, and because we are Rockdale County Fire Rescue, we need firefighters and EMTs. Once again, 70% of our calls, give or take, is for EMS calls. We don't just need firefighters. We need somebody who can do more than put on a Band-Aid. So that's what we're meeting that challenge right now. We're not hiring. We want to process the 30 or so that we have now, have a ceremony for them, swear them in toward maybe September, October this year, give our training staff a break because we really only have 3 persons over at training, one way or the other orchestrating these 30-some-odd personnel, and then come back around November, going into the first of the year to open up that hiring again.
Chief, how long is a training class for a fire recruit?
So it could range anywhere from 7 to 8 months. Once again, you have 2 components. You have the fire side, which is about 16 to 20 weeks, and then they go to the EMT side, which can range from probably about the same 16 weeks, give or take.
Okay.
And then they're given 3 opportunities to pass that exam, and if they're not successful, then, you know, hey, it is what it is.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
No, I don't. Look, someone was so gracious to pull up my classifieds, so I'm gonna go ahead and read off the departments. Not all of them, but again, all of these opportunities on our website. But we are hiring in water and sewer, engineering for our dot. So I mentioned about public safety. That's also one of the opportunities that we have. And we talked about parks and recreation. We do have some full-time positions as well as summer positions. Our tax commissioner's office right now is hiring for customer service representatives. The district attorney is hiring assistant district attorneys. We have planning and development that's looking for positions. Our finance department is looking for positions. So, Mr. Chairman, you mentioned a lot, and I'm only halfway through the page, so I'm going to continue. Our public defender's office, we talked about our sheriff's office, and as far as the detention deputies. Also, juvenile court, our magistrate court, in our general services department, we have building maintenance techs, as well as capital projects. We're hiring in stormwater as well, and we also have superior court listed in our classified. So those are all of the departments right now that we do have listed in terms of our recruitment efforts.
Executive Director Holmes, thank you so much for that update. We have a lot of opportunities, and there are several options here in Rockdale County. I think it's periodically we like to kind of share this. We like to share this with our general public for people to know what the internal day-to-day struggle looks like in terms of having adequate amount of personnel, particularly in public safety and all these other areas. Yes, you need to know how to swim to be a lifeguard, but there. You need to know more than that, absolutely. CPR, the whole 9 yards. You need to have all those skills if you're going to be a lifeguard here in Rockdale County. But the other thing I want to make mention too is Executive Director Holmes talked about going to the website. And on the website, there's a link that you can click on, and you can learn about all of these opportunities that we offer here in Rockdale County.
And Mr. Chairman, we also do post with LinkedIn periodically, so I definitely welcome people to do that, as well as Indeed and some of the other traditional sites. So not just in ADP through our system, but definitely making sure that we're available on other social media sites as well.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll
Thank
try to get out of here on time. I have one more update. Director Redmond, come on up and tell us about this upcoming brand-new event you've got coming up this Friday out at Costly Mill. The first time Rockdale has had an opportunity to have something like that. This is, again, a response from the people when you talk about amenities and events, arts, culture, and entertainment. Tell us about it.
So yes, Chairman, you're correct. This Friday, May 19th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will have a Friday wind down. It is a wine tasting event at Costly Mill Park, and it will be held at the event center. It won't be where we traditionally have the summer concert series. We'll be at the event center. And so that address is 2599 Salem Church Road for entrance, and you would use the large parking lot to park. We will have vendors, food vendors out, as well as, of course, alcohol vendors out to serve the public. We also have Mr. Jalen Gilstrap. He will be playing live on site as well. So looking forward to a big turnout. I've heard a lot of positive feedback, and I can't wait, and people know the date by heart. So we're looking forward to a big turnout.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. Wind down, Friday wind down at Costly Mill this Friday. The first that we've done this through Parks and Recreation. There it is, Commissioners. Arts, culture, and entertainment. Absolutely. Our very own Jalen Gilstrap will be out there. One last piece. Director Hammer, come on up and give us an update on what you've been tearing up and tearing down over there on Bank Street in Old Town Conyers. He's been sending me pictures every other day, and I think he has now created a clear path from one side of Old Town to the others. Tell us what's
Exactly.
going on.
Good evening, Chairman, Madam Commissioners. Yes, we finally completed the demolition of the old Magistrate Court building and the very, very old DUI building that used to be the IT building once upon a time. So those buildings, if you recall, they had infrastructure issues, there was sewage issues, there were foundation issues. I could brought some pictures of the bus as well as cracked foundations and things like that. So we finally completed that. They graded out the area. It'll remain as it is, just a grassy area for the moment, but we did leave the concrete area as parking for the tax commissioner's office and for their staff.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, well, that's progress taking place. I just wanted to have him come up and give us an update about the progress that you're seeing in terms of what's happening with the construction there in Old Town Conyers. All right, thank you so much. Chief Sanders, any updates, reports, anything to add? I know Director Hammer just talked about the demolition. Anything that we might need to know about the government judicial complex?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. We are moving forward on that. The requests for proposals are due back next week for the design architect, and we will have an evaluation committee and move that forward. But we are moving ahead with comprehensive program services. We are on a schedule. So.
Very good.
Also did want to mention the comprehensive plan open house drop-in at 6 p.m. at JP Carr Community Center, and that's where we are headed next.
Very good. I was hoping that between you and Executive Director Rutledge, y'all was going to mention that. Very good, and we want to encourage all those who want to be a part of the future planning for Rockdale County to join us over at JP Carr, 981 Taylor Street. We'll be leaving here and headed over there shortly. Executive Director Rutledge, is there any need for executive session?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Happy Tuesday. This